What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about Unit 2, topic 2.7, the business cycle. In this video, we're going to cover the four phases of the business cycle. We'll cover negative output and recessionary gaps, and then we'll cover positive output and inflationary inflationary gap or positive output gaps. Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. This is, again, topic 2.7, business cycles. Okay. All right, so let me go ahead and let's get a business cycle up here real quick for you guys. So in this graph, what we're going to look at is real GDP on time, right? The peak, this is the trough. This is going to represent full employment. Okay, so here what we have is a business cycle. So on the vertical axis, we have real GDP, right? So you can see here, this is an increase in GDP, right? And then we see some decrease in GDP, and then it goes down, and then back up, and then down. A lot of times, the business cycle is referred to as a roller coaster, right? You're going to see ups and downs, right? So let's look at some stuff that's going on in this, okay? Here we have a peak, right? And then as we get past, well, first we have this trend line right here. And this trend line represents full employment. So whenever our GDP hits this line, it's going to hit full employment. Remember, full employment is between 4 and 6%. So anything above this line is going to give us a positive output gap, meaning that we are producing beyond full employment, right? And we would also call that an inflationary gap, right? Because you're going to have price levels increasing in this when we get from here to up here. And then at the tip of it is referred to as the peak, right? And then as you go down, right, you will see the bottom, right, which is a trough, right? And that is a negative output gap, right, as you go down. And the minimum or the lowest point is going to be the trough, and then again back up, right? Now, so this is our positive output gap right here, right? Output. And then down here is going to be our negative output. Okay. Now, this line again represents full employment. So if we're above this line, our employment levels are going to be below 4%, right? And if we are below this line, our unemployment level is going to be above 6%, right? So things are not good here. Things are really good here, right? Now, let's look at some of these areas, right? If we were to kind of draw lines like this, right? And another line like that. This area right here, right, would represent what's called a recession or contractionary, right? So the economy is contracting or getting smaller, right? And then, of course, this area right here is a recovery. The economy is getting back and expanding, right? So you would also refer to this as an expansionary, right? Now, if we are in a recession for a 6-month period or 2 quarters, back-to-back quarters, then we would be in a recession, right? And if things get really, really bad, even though there's not really kind of a definition for depression, right, or like an economic definition for depression, like there's no definition that say this many quarters you're in a recession, then you would be, or you're in negative output, you would be in a depression. So there's nothing like that. But things get real bad, then people would start referring to it as a depression, right? Just like what's the Great Depression, and a lot of people are saying that COVID-19, with everything that's going on, that it might bring the second depression, right? So, anyway, this is the business cycle, right? Again, real GDP on time. You see the peak, the trough. You see positive output, negative output. You see the recessionary gap or contractionary. You see expansionary policy that would be used here, or recovery, right? And so that is going to be it for us today. Appreciate you guys listening, and hope you guys learned something. Thanks.